I thought I'd put the best of Nana Cherry. And then slowly but surely I realized that, oh, it's not quite what I remember. But there you go. I'm going to stop listening to myself in my ear. Hi. I might have to do some adjustments. I'm so pigging hot in this room. So hot. Can I just say, this top that I'm wearing here, I don't know what I might have to adjust some colors because it is literally really, it's almost luminous. It's almost like fluorescent. It's such a nice color. It's just lovely. It's a sort of color you can only wear at our age, without looking a little bit scary. So anyway, an interesting day. I just want to talk about a little bit more about why it's so brilliant to come to Let Women Speak. Just one moment, callers. Okay, go and ask our oldest child. That's what happens when you work with your husband in the room. It's not so great, although I love him dearly, but he's a little bit distracting. So what can I say? Anyway, so this thing here, it is, I don't know how to show you the color because it just goes a bit weird, but it's just super bright. It's really lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Anyway, but I'm a global icon. Do you know? I must have told you that the other day. That's what that's what they take the mickey and out of me and call me in this house. So, right. So, just one moment. Okay. I'm really enjoying this whole thing of the Party of Women coming. Let me just say, the stewards who come and enable women to speak are a phenomenal set of people. They really, really are. And I just want to clarify something because a couple of TRAs have sort of. There was a meme going back. It's not tangerine, Leslie. Actually, it's not tangerine. It's more. It's more tango than tangerine. Just trying to think of another brand that you could. It's almost like a lollipop lady orange. You know that really, really bright orange? It's almost that, but it's so wonderful. But my 49-year-old body is just telling me that I'm hot nearly all the time. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean that literally. I'm pigging boiling. Anyway, so the stewards. So a couple of TRAs as of late have been atting me in that, say one of the stewards says that they hate Donald Trump or they vote Democrat, then a TRA would say, I'm telling Posie Parker. And I just want to say, the only time the stewards, I have anything to say about the stewards ever is when they're at an event. On their way to the event, they're none of my business. And what they say and do is absolutely none of my business. And vice versa. On Twitter, what they say and do is none of my business. Absolutely none of my business. This is not let women say the things that I approve of. So it's really peculiar that an organization called Let Women Speak would then try and tell grown women what they can or cannot say. So I'm responsible for my behavior. I'm responsible for the things I say. And I'm not responsible for anyone else. There's 5 humans on this earth that I'm associated with, that what they do absolutely impacts me, and that is my husband and my 4 children. Video is very creepy, someone says. Uh, I'm just gonna ask you all if you can see and hear me, otherwise I will end and restart with the same title. So, when will the poppy turf hoodies so we're just waiting for the turf to come back in. In fact, what we're also doing, so we're gonna bring back the white gloss turf, and we're also gonna bring a red diamante turf. Okay, so everyone's saying fine. Okay, great. Okay. So I'll tell my tech woman. Ah, now she see now everybody else said she's suddenly saying it's fine. It's gotten better, she said. It's gotten better, she said. Um, okay. So that's I just want to make that point about the stewards. I also want to say that I am really, really lucky that we go and give space to so many women. I've just got a text to say from the tech woman to say she's going to clip the bit that was choppy and shove it in my face. Um, that's the sort of respect I command around these parts. Let me just tell you. Uh, so we've got Sunday. I bet it's going to be really cold on Sunday, but we've got a speaker's corner in Hyde Park on Sunday. Um, and also, I haven't told you, but I'm going to tell you now that the man who threatened and wrote the most just vile things about what he wanted to do, like set me on fire, I think was one of them, or chop my head off. I can't remember. Um, he's going to court for his first hearing to plead guilty or not guilty. And obviously, if he pleads guilty, there's no trial. And if he pleads not guilty, there will be. And I might have to get involved in that. And I was asked for a victim impact statement. And I'm just going to tell you how I feel about these victim impact statements. Because on the phone call from the witness care, I think they used to be called victim support, but they're called the witness care or something. Or maybe it's two different organizations. But what they basically said to me is that depending on my witness statement is helpful for me because it could impact the sentence or the punishment. Now, I personally think that that's wrong because the way I feel is quite pragmatic and a little bit stoic about this man. I think he is a threat. I think I'm right to be threatened by him. I think he's unhinged enough, and we've seen that he also has, according to the newspaper, committed violent acts before. And so I think it's right and proper that I take precautions, that he's reported to the police and that he's punished for the threats and taken off the streets, right? So I genuinely do think he's a threat. Have I cried about it? No. Am I sad about it? No. Do I wake up frightened about it? No. Am I frightened when I go to sleep at night? No. Would I even be frightened if I went to Brighton? No. Do I genuinely think that he's a threat? Yes, I do. Do I think if he had an opportunity to attack me that he would? I absolutely do. I think he's really, really quite unhinged. But it just made me think that why should it, depending on how I feel about something, why should it actually make a difference? Um, and why is that title not Turf Talk? That's my fault. Um, and a few people were sort of saying, "Oh, yeah, but it's good for victims." And look, if the victim impact statement was about a victim feeling that they had a voice in that court case, um, and that they were heard, and that they weren't just a number, and they weren't just like a whatever. Um, if it made the victim feel more listened to, then I'm all for that. But to change to have any impact on the sentencing, I just I'm I'm just not okay with that. I feel that's wrong because what he did, he committed a crime, and hopefully he will be found guilty, and convicted of that crime, and he's been charged with 4 crimes. Um, I just I just think that that's enough. And the reason I'm so adamant about this is you, me, any of us could be on the other end of this, where a victim impact statement makes a difference to how you're treated in a court. Now, imagine this. Take your kids swimming and you're in the female-only changing room with your daughter, um, and she's in a state of undress, and a man comes in who calls himself a woman, and he gets undressed, and you call him a man, and you tell him to get out, and you scream and shout at him, you call him a pervert, and you say, "Get out, you stupid man, take your penis out of this place," right? And then he reports you for a hate crime, for harassment, for a hate crime, and then you're in that court of law being charged with a hate crime, aggravated sort of injury through maybe you push him out of the changing room. And then he says how terribly he's been impacted by that. Or you misgender him on Twitter and he goes to court and he says how he's terribly impacted. His victim impact assessment statement, sorry, actually changes the way that you're treated in court. That's why it shouldn't make any difference to the crime that you've actually committed. Like if I burgle an old lady in her house and she says her victim impact statement is actually just a few lines, um, should it mean that my sentence isn't so bad? Instead of breaking into somebody's house who goes on for reams about how it's impacted them. Um, so I absolutely think that women, or all victims of crime have a right to be heard and something read out to say about how they've been impacted. But I do not think it should make any difference to the punishment for the crime, because otherwise we're talking about subjective feelings being inserted into our legal system and our punishment and our judiciary. And I absolutely think that that is a road to hell. And it's, it's paved with, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think it was probably somebody thought it would be a really good idea because maybe judges didn't see victims as humans after all and didn't really think about how it might impact them. But yeah, so that's what I want to say. That I just don't think. I think the law should be a rather blunt instrument, actually. I think the law should be like it's either right or wrong. It's either worthy of punishment or it's not. It's either these sort of years. Um, and it shouldn't matter. Like if the sentencing is like 3 to 6 months, it shouldn't matter how badly the victim is impacted. Um, whether or not you go to prison for 3 or 6 months, it should be what sort of crime you committed, whether you go to prison for 3 or 6 months. Like that's just my view. Um, anyway, I just look. I probably would have agreed with a victim impact statement about 10 years ago, but everything that we see, including that letter about Gillick. So there was a letter from a GP surgery to an 11-year-old to say that when that 11-year-old turned 12, they would have to give continued consent as to whether or not they wanted to share the contact with their parents and whether basically their parents were allowed to appointments. So that was like a 12-year-old would be allowed to say that. Now, that for me is an unintended consequence of Gillick. So when we decided that girls should be able to go along and get contraception without their parents, and we decided that was under 16, and that seems to now stretch to about 11 or 12. Um, I think that is a total unintended consequence. The whole point of Gillick was that 15-year-old girls, 14, 15-year-old girls were sexually active with their 14 and 15-year-old boyfriend. That probably wasn't the truth. They probably were sexually active with much older boyfriends. And in order for those girls not to get pregnant, which obviously would cause catastrophic consequences in their lives, like really massive shifting consequences in their lives. Um, and I think it was probably a very good idea at the time to give those girls some autonomy. Now, what we have all these years later is that children have the capacity to give consent to medical procedures, that we're listening to children about how they feel about their bodies and that they can possibly understand the consequences of uh, completely eradicating fertility in their bodies, or that they might not ever have an orgasm. Um, these are things that children can't possibly understand, but because of Gillick, that sort of opened the door that the that children could have a relationship with the state via medical personnel, so via doctors, without their parents' consent. And whilst I'm absolutely sure that there's many doctors that think very hard and carefully about this, there is also a really nasty creep now that they're segregating you from your children at school. They're separating, sorry, you from your children at school. They're separating you from your child when it comes to medical decisions. And I'm sorry, but I would rather a family be responsible for a child than the state. Except in situations where it's not bad, but holistically, I think families are much more appropriate to care for their own children than the state is to listen to. And I just think we need to be really, really careful what we wish for here. Really, really careful what we wish for. And if it means undoing Gillick and getting rid of the Gillick competence, and I think there's another one called Willems, getting rid of those two things and putting something else far more explicit in its place that doesn't open it to misinterpretation and misuse in then allowing children to consent to things that they absolutely cannot comprehend. I just don't buy it for a minute that any child can comprehend what it's like to block puberty and the consequences of that. I just don't think it's possible. And I think that any parent advocating for that is an abusive parent. So, look, I know that some people don't like me saying it. I know they don't. And quite frankly, I couldn't give a shit. It's not something I worry about. I don't care about anybody thinking I'm right. I absolutely know I'm right. I'm absolutely right on this. I think thin end of the wedge arguments are really important and they often make the most sense. So if you're not happy with that, you will need to talk to a therapist because I'm not remotely interested. Okay, so I think all of you lovely people have come for a little more than me rabbiting on.
I'm in the phone booth, it's the one across the hall. If you don't answer, I'll just ring it off the wall. I know he's there, but I just tried to call. Don't leave me hanging on the telephone. Don't leave me hanging on the telephone.
People, hello, good morning to you down in New Zealand. This is TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Oh, hi, Kellie-Jay. It's Robin back from New Zealand.
Hi.
Nice to get through to you. Just a couple of things. I kind of feel like I'm going a bit crazy because I told you I got that message bar on my appointment letter that I couldn't get in, and it had a gender identity thing. And then my appointment got cancelled because I'm 3 weeks a letter to say that I have to my next appointment in about a month's time. And also every 6 weeks I have a bone strengthening infusion, and that got cancelled as well. So when I went my oncologist last time, I told him about the gender thing. He said, oh, I'll look into it. So now they just said, oh, we made a mistake.
So, sorry, it's a bit difficult to hear you. Let me just try and summarize what you just said. So, you've been some appointments you expect cancelled, and so you've talked to your oncologist who says they'll look into it. And then he said it was an admin error, or
Yeah, they just said, oh, it was a mistake.
So have you got your appointments resumed?
Yeah, they're resumed again, but it just, like, I'm so under the, like I'm so powerless, like I'm under their care, and it's like, I don't think it was a mistake, but they're just saying, oh, it was a mistake. So it just, I don't know, it just made me feel like it was all in my head or something, but I don't think
Robin, where are you in New Zealand? Like, broadly, where are you? So if
in
somebody,
Auckland.
you're in Auckland, so there's a fair few
Yeah.
TERFs in Auckland. Can we not try and match you up with someone who could maybe go with you to attend your next appointment?
I'll maybe think about that. I don't know.
Even
It's
just
really hard.
to turn up with you, they like what we've been doing here is we talk about advocacy. So it's basically just going along like a friend. It's not going along as an expert. It's not going along to speak for you. It's just going along for sort of security, really, so that when those medics are talking to you and you feel like you're gaslit, that somebody else is there a little bit more objective who can just basically bear witness to what it is that you're experiencing. I mean, there are some pretty amazing women in Auckland. How would you feel if I reached out so you at least had somebody that we could put you in touch with?
Just my next appointment's really hard. Maybe I'll just do that online because I have to have every 3 months I have to have a scan. And
Yeah, I don't mean like breaking. I don't mean like
anxiety.
anything undignified, like going to an appointment where you have to be examined. I just mean even someone in the waiting room with you, so that or take a friend. Do you have anyone that you can take?
No, well, I've got no, not really. Not. I can't really talk to people about this. It's just
Okay.
really hard.
That's why I think having someone, I mean, I don't know about you, but my parents lived in China for quite some time. I think my mother was most homesick because sometimes she never heard her fellow countrymen. Like she might hear Americans or Australians or New Zealanders, but she wouldn't hear like an English person. And I think maybe having someone that you can just even text and just say, "Oh, this happened to me today," like in your own words and sort of time zone might be something that could help. I just I just wonder, it just sounds like it's quite lonely and isolating if you feel like the medical system, when you're at your most vulnerable, are actually trying to drive you insane.
Yeah, exactly. It's what it feels like. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that would
Yeah.
be good. Um,
Let us see if
so
we can do that.
okay, that would be great. And just one other thing.
Mhm.
I just want to talk about breast cancer. So it just really annoys me how these people that have top surgery see it as a thing to be celebrated. And I think that if you've had breast cancer, that we should take our language back. So we
Yeah.
should stop calling what we have double mastectomies and call it bilateral mastectomies, because
Right.
that's the word for it, and that's what surgeons use. And we had a surgical thing to save our lives. We didn't have cosmetic surgery. So
Yeah.
I just think if we start calling it bilateral mastectomies, it kind of separates ourselves out from those people.
Yeah. Well, I will certainly start doing that. But all the very best to you, and I really hope we can. I will reach out. Look, we have an amazing woman who runs Let Women Speak down in. She's very near to Auckland, so I'll have a chat with her. But if you get in touch via the New Zealand store, she should be able to help you. But it's really lovely to talk to you, and all the best. Hello, good evening. This is Tough Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Oh my gosh. Hi, Kellie-Jay.
Hi.
My
That's
name
gonna
is
stop now.
Willie. I'm
Hi.
from Dallas, Texas area.
Are you from Dallas? Well, hello to
Yes.
you.
There's not a lot of women. I joined the forum, and there's not a lot of women in Texas, but I'm here. I just want to say, first of all, you are gorgeous. I could watch your face all day.
Oh, thanks so much.
And
Very good lighting.
and you are so funny. The Davina video had me dying. I just wanted to say that I think we're making great strides here in America. In 2023, there's been so many great bills passed. In Arkansas and Iowa, they're banning schools from letting men into women's bathrooms, and Oklahoma is banning gender affirming care to all children.
Yeah.
And there's just been so many more. So I think that's amazing. I think you probably have a lot to do with that.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, it has been. It's been great news, but I think it's a bit like here that something really great happens, and it's it's almost like, oh, it reminds me of an infestation, right? So say I could hear I could hear something, I could hear something, I could hear something. I didn't know what it was, and then I find the mouse, right? And then I'm like, oh, it's a mouse. That's what the noise is. And then when you go to get the mouse, you move the mouse, and behind the mouse is another 100 mice. It kind of feels like that in your country and mine. That every time people are like, hey, we've cracked that particular thing, there is another new avalanche of, I'm going to say shit, that follows it. And so, yeah, that's what I feel like. I think there are still so many people in your country that have no idea. Even like Republicans have absolutely no idea that they are genuinely putting rapists into women's prisons.
Yeah, no, I most women that I talk to, they have no idea. And I know that in Texas, there's just a story about the first man in a women's prison to have gender affirming surgery, and it was like covered by the state and everything. And
what, like
so,
a good news
yeah,
story? Was that like a good, oh my gosh, isn't this so great story? Or was this is a terrible thing?
yes.
No, so
No, it was
great.
hooray, we've made, we're so progressive and all that. And
Oh, Texas and Iran. So what a joyful country to emulate. I mean, Texas is probably suffering a little bit because it's had a massive influx from people escaping blue states, hasn't it? So is it
yes,
Dallas?
from
Dallas is not
California.
woke and Austin's quite woke, is that right?
If you go to the kind of more rural areas, then people are pretty red. But
Right.
where I grew up, it used to be pretty empty, like there's nothing going on. But now I see it just like boom. The population has been booming, and it's all these people from California coming over because their state has gone to shit. So they're trying to come over and do the same thing to Texas.
Don't you find it? I can't imagine hating where I live so much to move somewhere else where I appreciate that they're not ruined by what I've just left, and then try and make that place as bad as the place I've just left. It just doesn't really make any sense.
No, it doesn't at all. And I'm like, go back to where you came from and try to fix over there.
Well, I've been talking about coming to America, so I want to come to the States about 4 times this year, but I'm not necessarily interested in going to places where the TRAs are going to come out and try to kill me. What I really want to do is I want to go to the places where, somewhere like Dallas, where there definitely are people that would be natural allies, would actually definitely not want men in their female changing room or in their daughter sports or in their sorority houses. Those people that are a little bit complacent and need waking up so that they can also start saying no loud and clear. That's what I think we need to do. And I hope what I bring to this entire thing is no political allegiance. I think they're all terrible. So no political allegiance, no religious allegiance, no sort of, I don't expect anyone to abandon their religion or take up a religion or abandon their political beliefs or take up political beliefs. Just really just very focused on this and what it does for our children and women. And so I'd really like to do a Let Women Speak. And I've been talking to my husband about Dallas. So yeah.
Oh, please come. We would love to have you.
I would love
And
to come to Dallas.
A lot of women here who would be on our side of this issue, I think the abortion issue is their main focus.
Yep. Yes.
So,
but there can't be abortion rights. I mean, if what Biden did straight away. So I know a lot of women voted, and look, the the Democrats were very clever in making this the live issue because I think everyone might be sick to the back teeth of racism. So what they've done is they've made this a live issue, and abortion has always been a live issue for both parties. One obviously wanting to take the right away, and one to give the right, and they should have both just kept it off the table, because by trying to sort of ban it in the federal courts, doesn't really actually change that much for anybody. But it has made it a live issue, and I do think it will be women who decide the American election. I think there will be some Republican women that would not be able to bring themselves to vote against the right to access abortion. So I really do think that
Right.
that it might go that way.
And women on the other side won't vote to allow it.
No. But it's just, if you let these issues become the topic, then that's what they will be. But as we've learned in the UK now, sex discrimination at work and in places where you would be able to talk about sex discrimination with regards to pregnancy and so on, because men can now get pregnant.
Right.
There's no such thing as sex discrimination because men can do it too. Therefore, how can it be sex discrimination? So anyway, it's also bad. But yes, I'd love to come to Dallas. And it's really lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yes. My stickers are in the mail, and I was just wondering when is the cat dog sweater coming to the America store?
They should be in the store now.
Now?
These tops. Did you say the cat dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. Let me just have a look. Let me have a look. This is what we were doing this afternoon. So I'm pretty sure they are in the US store.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I bought the beanie, so I have that coming too. But I just wanted the sweater to be a match.
Oh, she hasn't. So what we have got is the love ones. Let me just see, because I did. Okay, they'll be in tomorrow. They're not in today, but they will be in tomorrow. All right, lovely.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Nice to
well,
talk
thank
to
you, Kellie-Jay.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, sorry about that. I really, really want to go to Dallas. I feel like I am. Some may say Lucy, but I think now in my old age, I'm more like Miss Ellie. Hello, good evening and welcome. My name is Kellie-Jay. You're through to TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hello, Kellie-Jay.
Hi.
Just a quick one. I was wondering if this year you would come to Norwich to hold one of your lovely events.
It's funny you should say that. So we're doing Cambridge, which I understand is not too far away. Norwich is definitely on our radar. So I've got Cambridge and I've got Colchester. And then we don't know, might do Sheffield. And then maybe Norwich then. And then Cornwall for the summer, I feel. Cornwall in July or something.
It'd be huge if you came here, I think. There's a huge art scene. So quite big group on both sides.
Oh, well, okay. Norwich it is then. I think that's going to have to be May.
Nice. I will fly a whole city for you if you come.
Oh, actually, it might be June. So it might be, May might be Sheffield because we're going to have to go back up north. And I'm pretty sure I ought to do Scotland at some point, but maybe that'll have to be treated as a foreign country and do it mid something. Yes. Is that all right with you? Do you think many will come?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I've been talking to so many people about it in Norwich, and there's so many TERFs, and everyone knows who you are.
Oh, good.
I think it'd be big. Yeah.
Well, I'll do that then. That sounds fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Amazing. Cool. I'll see you on Sunday anyway.
All right. Cheers, lovely. Bye. Do you remember the man that came, that phoned, very sweet sounding man that phoned last week? He came to the Exeter event. It was a really good event. There was a doctor who I talked to, a psychiatrist who just burst into tears as soon as we started talking because she couldn't help her patients properly, and she couldn't She couldn't talk to any of her colleagues because they were woke. Hello, good evening and welcome. My name is TERF. My name is not TERF Talk at all, and my name is Kellie-Jay. You're through to TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kelly. I'm Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
Am I through?
You are.
Oh, okay, great. I won't keep you dead long, but I've got a little girl. She's 8. She's got autism. And like maybe about, I don't know, 6 months ago, she came to me and said, "Mummy, mummy, mummy, I think I'm a boy." And da, 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 da. Now my mate at TERF, she got me onto all this, so I've been clued up. And I wasn't expecting my daughter to say that, so I tried to keep it pretty cool and say, "But you can't be a boy, can you?" Da, 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 da. So I started looking into the school and what have you, and listening to all the stuff going on. My nerves are shot here. I'm dead shaky.
That's all right.
Anyway, I looked at the RSHP materials. When I went down the line, started like pretty, like puberty, pants, private parts. Then it went like masturbation, pornography, date, and then it got to LGB, and then being transgender. And I just went off my fucking head. Sorry.
That's all right.
But anyway, I went into the school, and I tried to tell as many people, like parents. Other parents are kind of like maybe turning their nose up at, just different responses from them since me talking about this stuff and kind of warning them what's going on. But I went in anyway. I decided I'm going to go in and look at the material and discuss it with the teacher. And she tried to like bum me over by saying, "Oh, yeah, it's really, really about this and it's about that. And, if everybody did all the shite, you know where I'm going. I just don't want to take up too much of time because I can waffle."
You can take up time. It's fine. You talk very quickly. So it's fine.
But I know, and it's probably my nerves as well. But anyway, bottom line was, I said, "No, I'm really interested in this bit," and I got straight to that bit. But I wasn't as cool as you. I wish that I'd seen your video when you were saying how to say, "And what is transgender?" and then pause 10 seconds. But I will try and practice that if I go in again. Anyway, they kind of just got on the defence. "Oh, I mean, we're only human." I mean, I wasn't aggressive or anything. "I mean, we're only human as teachers and da 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 da." But what's my point here? Bottom line is, her comeback was, I said to her, I said, "You've got kids, haven't you?" I said, "What age are your kids?" One's 10, one's 13. I said, "What do you make of all this?" I said, "Because it's awful." "I think it's great. I think it's really great. Let me tell you what my boy said to me the other day, who's 13. And I said, "Yeah, go on." He came home from school and we were all, whatever, happy fucking families, whatever. And he said, "Mum, we had a great day in school today. We did a great experiment." What was it? We did an experiment and we seen the size a tampax expands and how women's vaginas fit. And I looked at the teacher and I went, "Really? Like, what?" Like, just to me, it was just like, fuck off. You know what I mean? I'm in here and I'm like, "Is this for real? Is this for real?" So I turned around and I said, "But when I was a little teenager," I said, "Is he in a mixed class as well?" She goes, "Yeah." Anyway, it just fucking scunnered me anyway. And I come out, and to be honest, I fucking hate sending my daughter to school, right? I can't see myself being a great homeschooler. I fucking struggle just reading to my daughter. But every single night, I can't really sleep. Like, I can sleep eventually, but it's just like that thought of me sending her there. And then she come home the other day and then she said, "Mum, can girls only have beards if they're drawn on?" And I thought, "Oh, for fuck's sake, that's it. She's coming out." I've took her out. I've emailed the school and said, "I don't want anything in." I emailed them. I had to email the head teacher and say, "I don't want my daughter in this class or any of them in any of the years in the RSHP. This is this sex education thing." I've told a few mums. They're a bit on board now. The other thing I wanted to say was they sent them a letter saying there's going to be a NSPCC fucking safeguarding speech, whatever. Don't trust nothing now.
I don't trust them.
And it said, no. And it said, I'm not very good at researching and all that, but now, since watching this and all that, I'm like, right, I'm into everything. Anyway, so I looked at a few little bits, and I seen safeguarding, something about, like, seems sneaky, like, we could talk to your kid in private, and I thought, right, so I sent the letter back to do a survey. I mean, she's 8, how many fucking kids can do a survey? You know, what would be on the survey anyway? So I put, no, I don't want my daughter to be, do the survey, or on the no speak out, whatever it was, about NSPCC. Anyway, Kelly, I'll let you speak. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's fine.
I'm a bit manic, you know.
I would be as well. I think loads of parents know that this shit is going on in schools, and they feel totally powerless because you don't want to be seen as trouble. You don't want people to go, oh, here's that woman again, making a big fuss about nothing. I think the teachers are lying to you, and it's very, very difficult when they look you straight in the eye and they basically go, yeah, I think it's great to be stabbed in the face. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. I love it. I love the blood just trickling out my eyes. It's so, and we're just such an open, diverse, inclusive, wonderful school. Let me just say, I did a thing yesterday. No, it's fine. I did a thing yesterday on paedophiles and Pi talking. I'm telling you, the parallels when I sat in that room across from those teachers, and they got really defensive, and they treated that mother with contempt, as if they knew better than the mother about her own fucking children. And I think when you see it like that, and you have the confidence, because I could be objective, so I could sit back, and at no point did I think any of this was my fault, or maybe I was being paranoid or misinterpreting, but I watched those teachers and how they treated that woman, and I'm telling you, I think it's absolutely endemic. I think they really do think they know best. I think they're stupid people that have spent far too long in a school, and they haven't spent enough time out in the real world. And I think that if you instinctively just, even if it makes you feel angry, right? Even if you couldn't articulate it, and you articulated it perfectly, but even if for other parents, they're a bit like, what? Oh, I'm not having, but they can't quite put their finger on as to why. I'm just saying, hold on, parents listening, just hold on to that, because that is your true response to something, and maybe you can't put it into really neat little boxes as to exactly why it makes you feel uncomfortable. But if you want, look, we have Let Women Speak locals all over the country. If you want us to come,
I did try and get in touch. It was way back a while, and I was sending emails. It was saying, "Is it the right one? Is it the?" And I was saying, "Is there anybody in the Glasgow area?" But it didn't matter. I went in anyway. I took my other TERF friend with me. But I can quickly just say, because of this No Outsiders, the one that I've seen, right, I already see, but so I've done a little bit of research into fucking sex ed, which is atrocious. And then I looked in the secondary school where she's registered to go, and that is taken over by No Outsiders. So while I was in that fucking thing with that teacher, and I said to her, who's these people on the bottom? And my mate gave me a few tips, that, you know, the little bits at the bottom, like the outside people. I said, who are these people? And she's like, oh, I don't really know, whatever. And anyway, and I said, is this a No Outsider school? She thought I was talking in a foreign language. I said, what? I said, is this a No Outsider school? I said, because I know Highland Secondary School. I've said it now. I know that secondary school is. I said, I was trying to be careful not to say
I'm sure there's a catchment of about at least 1,000 children, so nobody's going to find you.
Yeah. But anyway, she turned around and she's like, what's that? What's? I said, you don't know? I said, well, you better look it up. You know what I mean? You go and have a look yourself. That's when I said, you've got kids in school, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But Kelly, I every day I speak to my friend, right? She's my bestest friend ever. She's a pure TERF. She's got me on it. And I say to her, I just want to get Annie out of school. But I think it was before Christmas, and then Christmas, you know, you have 2 weeks off and you're just demented, because it's just me and my daughter, really. And it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. But the fear of just being like, not being able to fucking function because I've got my daughter with me 24/7. But that, I think I'd rather have it and go out for walks and learn about dandelions and whatever. Do you know what I mean? My mind is made. It's just about how is it going to affect my daughter? I say to her, Annie, do you like that school? Plus, she gets bullied. They do fuck all about that. They don't do nothing when I go in and talk about her autism. Oh, she doesn't show any signs of autism. Oh, no, she doesn't fucking show.
Girls
No, they don't want to
especially.
hear it.
90% of
bullying policies, no fucking sharing policies. I've been in before and said I don't care about your policies because policies are there just whatever.
Don't you think as well with girls? And I find it. So I'm a little bit of a. Once I had children, I decided that I was the mother to all children that I ever saw at any point of any day, and I would just go and if I saw someone mistreating a child or shouting at a child or whatever, or I remember a man with a very young baby in a supermarket. The baby was crying. He was lost. He didn't know what he was. He's obviously left the mother at home absolutely broken, I would imagine. And I just went over. I was like, do you want me just to hold your baby? And he was like, oh, it's fine. I was like, seriously, I can't do my shopping because I can't get past that baby crying.
Switch off,
I'll hold her. I'll follow you the whole time. You can have my handbag so you know I'm not going to run off with your baby. But anyway, I just think there is something that some teachers don't see, and I can see it. So I can see it when a load of girls are ostracizing another girl and sort of standing slightly to the side or sniggering or doing that quiet, horrible, nasty thing that girls do that us women aren't supposed to talk about. But we all know exactly what it is and we can see it. And you'll see a teacher and they go, I can't see anything. And you're like, they're literally doing it now.
Yeah.
Right this minute in front of you.
She's people pleasing, right? She's giving all her lunch away and not holding herself to go to the toilet. Not because it's same sex yet, but it fucking probably will be soon. But because she's frightened of flies, right? So in the summer, whatever, right? It's her autism, anything a flap she doesn't like. So she was holding in a pee all the time and then coming home and busting. And I said, can you please make sure that she's going to the toilet? Sorry, I had to cough there. And they're just not like, oh, what did he say? There's no way she would be sharing her food because we've got a no sharing policy. Everything I've hit them with. And they lied to me as well. One day she got hit with a water bottle, right? I know, wow. They got hit. The little boy who's the bully in her hit her with a water bottle in her chest. It took me girl about 6 hours to tell me what the fuck happened. She just kept saying, Mummy, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. Eventually she said, blah, 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 hit me in the thing. So I went up to school the next day. I said, I want to speak to the head, blah, blah, blah. I go, is this the incident about the water bottle? Before I even got in, they make me shrink into the chair as if I'm a fucking idiot and I'm maybe over-exaggerating. So he sits right forward in his chair like that and he goes, I was there. He said, now what happened was your little girl got a bit frightened because she thought water went on her, but I was right standing there and no water went on her. And in other words, my little girl was a fucking right, which she can be. I'm not being fucking like saying she's not. She can be fucking over-exaggerative, right? So later on, I come back and I went to her, darling, I said, see when the blah blah done that to you with the bottle? I said, was Mr. Blah blah there? She goes, no, thingy texted, like the teachers must text each other in the fucking room. The thingy got in touch with the head after I was crying and upset.
Wow.
So I thought, you bastard. It was like sports day the next day. I said, by the way, you weren't even there. You know, so why are you? So I can't trust them even just with the bullying. So anyway, me fingers, I'm taking it out tomorrow.
Well, good for you. Maybe, look, if there's enough mothers or fathers, but mothers, if there's enough mothers that want to take their children out, you could maybe like meet up. You could take it in turns. You could like have like a couple of afternoons where somebody else does something that they're good at. You know, the state have proved over the last few years that it just can't be trusted. So best of luck anyway, rather you than me.
Oh, thanks very much. Bye-bye, Kelly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nice to talk to you. Bye. Bye. I got to say that when it comes to some of the teacher stuff, there was, I'll be very brief. There was, one moment. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Kellie-Jay. You're through to TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kellie-Jay. You've got TERF Mail.
Hey, you've got TERF Mail. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm as bright as a bright orange hoodie. That's how I am.
As sassy as you ever are. I saw the latest meeting of the ladies who came to have their free speech, and you were looking fabulous, all of you in your winter coats.
Thanks so much. Yeah, well, I was hoping never ever to fit in that big coat ever again, but apparently, if you eat enough, you can achieve that particular goal. So good for me. What
It's
can
winter
we do?
weight.
Yeah, it's so not, because come summer, it will be summer weight.
Right.
But anyway, my lovely, you carry on. What did you want to say?
I want to tell Canadians that they can go to a website called letsbe.ca, and there they can order free postcards and free pamphlets to send to people about not transitioning minors.
What do you mean free? Oh, now you've just made it
Free.
awkward for me with your free
Yeah, but
stuff.
this is specifically about kids and specifically for Canada, so it won't cut into you guys.
I am joking.
You'll still do your postcards. But yeah, no, they're free. I ordered like 1,000 postcards and 1,000 flyers, and they showed up to my house in a box.
Ooh.
And I'm going to pass them out to all sorts of people. And I've already written a bunch of MLAs in my province. And then you can, writing to your MP here is free. So I'm going to send one to every MP, every sitting MP. I'll just address them and send those off. So again, if Canadians want free don't transition minors, it's letkidsbe.ca.
Let me ask
Pop
you
on
while I've
over.
got you there, my lovely Canadian woman. Are Canadians, do they not believe the bad stuff that we know over here about Trudeau? Do they think that Canada's such a lovely place and the people are so nice that the bad stuff that we hear about isn't really happening? Do they like that 50-year-old bloke swimming with teenage girls? Like how in God's name is that happening?
It's completely captured mainstream media. Completely captured.
But
so like it goes on Rebel News, but
yeah.
In my form, before I peaked, I would like never have gone to Rebel News. I was a PBS, CBC news watcher my whole life. The PBS NewsHour, I mean, you could use that news. Every time I watched that news at the end, I felt like I had attended a college course because they were always putting context in. And
do you think
excellent.
It's changed? Do you think it's changed,
oh, yeah, totally.
Or do you think that maybe you were naive?
No, it's changed.
It's changed.
Because in the old days, we didn't say that men were women.
Yeah, well. But I just wonder whether the lies have just changed. Whether the lies, maybe they're just bigger lies. I don't know. I just sort of think, can a culture change that much that they come and that they can capture people who belong to an organization that has never been captured before, but with a big fat lie? I don't know.
I do. I think so. I think that, let's say, so I'm Gen X. So when I was traveling into my 30s, it wasn't that I wasn't watching the news. I was totally watching the news from September 11th. I paid tons of attention to the news. But anyway, but then you're 30, you start to try to make life decisions that are going to be about how you're going to live your life. I decided I would do my environmental work on a micro level from my own house. That ate up a lot of time. That ate up like years to make my land into a permaculture place, right? That was my goal, was to provide habitat for wildlife, because I felt like I couldn't do anything on a grand scale.
Yeah.
So the story was to do things locally, and I did, God damn it. But while I was doing things locally, I had zero idea that they were telling women that they could be men and that they could get their breasts cut off. I had no idea. Like so many people, I was so shocked when I first found out. I was just thinking today about how I was telling my friend Bookish about how you can look back on your TERF life and it's like reading the rings of a tree.
Yeah.
Like what you learn and when you stop doing something. So like I can count back to when I was like, oh, this is outrageous. They're going to make women's bathrooms in Georgia, all women's bathrooms. Where were the trans women went? And that was sort of like the center of my journey. And then I learned something and I was like, what the hell?
I know.
And then I moved out and moved out and
but
moved
there were
out.
dads. There were literally dads at that swimming pool. I mean, I'm telling you, if my husband is not, I'm probably a little bit more violent than my husband, and certainly have those sort of I could vision, if someone hurt my kids, I could now tell you for about the next 20 minutes in great detail what I would do to anyone who touched any of my children. My husband
But you're weird. Like, you're super weird, right? You know that old psychological test where they had like 7 people in on it, and then one woman went into the office and she wasn't in on it, and they rang a bell, and then everybody in the room stood up because they were all in on it. And she didn't stand up the first time, and she didn't stand up the second time, but she stands up on the third time. And you, my friend, you wouldn't have stood up at all except to
Well,
say,
I
"What
hope
the fuck
not.
is this bell?
Yeah,
What is this
I
bell
hope I
ringing?"
wouldn't. I think I would have. Yeah, I hope I wouldn't. I mean, I think those.
I like
I like to think I wouldn't. But I'm telling you, if we went somewhere, my daughter was 13 and she was swimming in a pool, and a 50-year-old bloke tried to get in, even my lovely, peaceful, gentle husband would rip that man apart. I just know he would. I
well,
can't imagine why anyone wouldn't.
I wonder how much of it is. We've had this talk before about the Canadian. We've been sort of gaslit into thinking that we were the nicest people in the world. And
Right.
then when they told us we weren't the nicest people in the world, we really took that to heart.
Right.
So for a long time, we've been very sassy, right? We took in refugees. We took in draft dodgers. We didn't get involved in Vietnam. Like, we have been really patting ourselves on the back for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when they told us that we were horrible settlers and that we had done these terrible things to Indigenous people, the guilt of that
Yeah.
being applied to us day in and day out sort of broke us. And I
Yeah.
think, isn't that the whole sort of story of Western civilization right now, is
Well, how
tear
old is
down our
Canada?
statues?
How? Because when you talk like that, I'm thinking, well, Trudeau is the obvious leader for Canada then, because he's got this sort of beautiful, harmless veneer. He's quite good looking. Obviously, we all know who his dad is, but he's quite good looking, and he's all nice veneer. But then actually, when you dig up his bit of history, he's done quite a lot of blackface. He seems to really enjoy that, and he's got these
I
really
think it's part
harmful
of,
policies.
to me, it's like part of the psyops.
Yeah.
And it's like, it breaks you, right? Like, my God, the guy did blackface, and on more than one occasion. But then we were told that that was just an apology away, or it was just a childhood prank. And then we ate that, and we
Yeah.
just keep eating it, and we keep feeding it to ourselves.
Well, only
It's
because people want to,
so
right?
dangerous.
You can only believe lies if you really want to, if you have a desire and a need to believe them, because otherwise they're
Yeah.
just lies. So
Well, that's
I
part of
just,
the problem.
well, I believe that we
That's
all
the
have a
other part.
relationship with the truth and lies, and with nothing is by accident. The things that I do is I make those conscious choices, even if I think that I don't consciously make them. I am making these conscious choices. So every person that turns a blind eye to that 50-year-old bloke in the pool has their own payoff and why they do it. I just don't know
Yeah.
if any payoff for me would ever be greater than a threat to my
No.
kids, because I just don't think it
Well,
would.
we've got some very sassy ladies here who are going off
I
and
know.
taking action on this all the
Good
time.
old
It's totally
Maureen.
awesome.
It's my mum's name. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the Red Tent Collective, if anybody
Yeah.
in Canada needs any help, check out the Red Tent Collective. They'll help you with your digital stuff. I also wanted
Thank
to tell
you.
a quick story about my husband, who, this is going to be from a man's point of view. So he doesn't want women in the men's room. He doesn't want to be somebody who listens to ladies take a peep or a poop,
Yep.
or hear him take a peep or a
Yep.
poop. He doesn't want to smell it. He doesn't want to see it. He's a man with dignity and integrity, and he's porn free, and he doesn't want any part of this. And he recently went away to do a sabbatical at another location where they had turned all the bathrooms into gender neutral bathrooms. So he popped into the men's room because it had urinals and was doing his business when out came one of the older ladies who was at the same sabbatical as him. So he had been listening to her pee, not knowing about it, right? And then she came up and started talking to him at the urinal.
Oh, oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, just like totally chatty, like, "Oh, hey there, it's so great to see you. Don't you think this program is going good?" And he's like,
He should have urinated on her. I would never say that, but
it's out. Like, pants, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, he was in a position where she could have seen his manhood, if you will. And then what does that mean if, like, later on down the line she wanted to say, like, "Oh my God, he flashed me in the bathroom"? Well,
But-
I mean, technically,
Like, what is going through her head is like, I'm so cool. I'm just going to use this bathroom, and I'm just going to walk past the urinal because I'm just so cool and I haven't noticed. Oh, he's at the toilets. I know. I'll do that thing that no man ever does and talk to someone else at the urinal, and I'll just go and have a chit chat while he's got his penis out. urinating into your urinal, and I'll keep my eyes at eye level and have a
That's so
chit-chat
weird.
casual conversation.
He was so freaked out that he was like, okay, well, there's a men's room still another floor down. So now it's inconvenient, but I will use the men's room the other floor down. So he goes to the men's room downstairs, and then you know what's there, right? Free tampons.
Oh.
So he packs them all in his backpack. He brings them home, and I wrap them up in a big box, and we donate them to the local food hamper.
What is going? And look, I use this word all the time. I feel it's just performative. I feel all this stuff is really performative. Why would any woman? Because men's urine smells different to women's. I'm not saying every woman's toilet is like this beautiful, clean, lick the floor kind of place, because it's definitely not. But men's excrement and urine is definitely different to women's. You know when you're going in a unisex toilet as a woman. And I would imagine it's the same for men, because like our smells are different to male smells. So in order to then pretend that you're not bothered by that and make a conscious choice to go in a place with a urinal can only be performative. It can't be the natural thing that she was okay to do, especially if she's older. And even if she's younger, you've got to go against something in your own body in order to do that.
I don't think she even understood. She was Indigenous, older, and from from a northern town, so where they don't have this. And another one of the people that came down for the sabbatical, when they asked him his pronouns, he was like, he? So when they made the poster with people's pronouns, that was all that was on for his name, was just he.
He should say something like he.
He barely speaks, just he.
But I'd really like for next, just tell him, just from me, if he's ever asked again, can he say he? So that on his badge all the time is like, oh, he. Because that would just make me laugh. Or ho. Just anything, just slightly nearly right, or him. Whatever. I don't care. It just has to be
so crazy.
Something.
Just a trapped old man from the Inuit culture, like trapped older dude, stuck being asked this like totally insane question by young genderists, not knowing what the answer was supposed to be. Just the whole thing was so incredibly awkward. But the good news is that the food shelter got like $100 worth of tampons.
Oh, well, it all's well that ends well. It's so lovely to talk to you.
Okay, well, thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
I was going to say hi to all the TERFs, but I'll say hi to all the TERFs.
You say it.
Hello, TERFs!
Oh, I've got to say hello to Bookish and Pija, because I forgot on Saturday, so.
Oh my gosh, did you know, this is such a funny story. Bookish is my best friend for real life for 40 years, and I piqued her.
Did you? Well, somebody promised to donate 50 quid if I said hello to her, so I should have said it on Saturday. So now I've said it.
That's awesome.
Oh, so nice to talk to you. You've got TERF mail.
We'll talk later. Bye-bye.
All right, cheers, lovely. Bye. We're all done. Wasn't that great? I really like he. Or I might do the hee-haw. Is that from It's a Wonderful Life? Either way, I would stay and chat for longer, but I promise you I am going to burst into flames because I don't know what's happened to my office. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have something very exciting to react to. I might do another one of those because they do really make me laugh. Ding dong. That's a great one, Patricia. All right, let me just have your funniest. Right, ready? Steady, go. Your funniest pronouns, please. Your funniest pronouns. I'd be HRH, says Red Cloud. I really like this one. Ding dong, says Patricia. Good show, everyone. Come on, hurry up. Oh, any update on the civil disobedience? No, but it won't be long. KFC, says Poet. I just little nod to Gina. That is why can't I see it? She says beep boop bop. It's ma'am. Bullshit. I'm right, says Mouse Nation. Ho ho. Ash says shit the bed. Bloody obvious. That TERF. TERF. Chi-Chi. Yeute. Hammer sickle. What the F? Right. I'm going to do two more. Real woman. F off. Assume. Right, okay, keep your wits about you. Keep something in your back pocket that makes you smile on a daily basis. I certainly do. I just want to say to each and every one of you, when it comes to winning this, you have to just keep focused on the things that actually matter. Just at all times. You have to use truthful language. Like the time for nice language is so over. I don't want to hear another male body, male person, male people. Like, no, it's a man. If you can use the word man when you mean a man, I promise we will win. We are getting stuff together to do No Outsiders. We've got this amazing action. We know that there's a quite a backlog with all you wonderful people trying to join locals, but we're going to get through you a little bit quicker than normal. All the members already in, they have been verified. We have like long conversations with them. We make sure they are who they are. And actually, I think that we just need numbers now. And we've just got this amazing action that we'll be doing. So if you're interested in that, you can go to letwomenspeak.org and you can contact us there, and we will be getting back to you very, very quickly. We've got quite a few people on it now. So if you've been waiting for a really long time, I'm very, very sorry. If you want to contact us at all, go to letwomenspeak.org and go to the contact page, and you can contact us through that. That is the best way. Emails are not really womaned anymore because we just find it's a lot easier to keep everything in that one place. So if you can join us with some of our very, very good actions, I'm talking mischievous, wonderful things, then I promise we will win. If you want to pop over to partyofwomen.org and you want to help us with our setup, that would be much appreciated. I'm really hoping that in the next 4 weeks we will have a yes, but our legal fees alone are into thousands already. So if you would like to help us out, we would be most grateful. The other way you can do that is be the billboard, is wear your words. That's what we want you to do. Okay, and if you can wear your words, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.